we've seen this movie before. George Soros funded groups and others literally pay protesters, and I saw.
And you specifically cite that George Soros funded organizers are coming and disrupting these town halls. Where has that happened? Can you give us some examples of that?
All you need to do is turn on the TV, and it's all over the place.
Donald Trump and other MAGA leaders are absolutely terrified that the American people are standing up to them. They're saying that all of these protesters and all of these people showing up to the town halls are just paid protesters who are bought and paid for by, yep, you guessed it, George Soros. That's their conspiracy. It's just utterly ridiculous. And look, the American people are pissed. This nonsense from the Trump regime of George Soros this, George Soros that. People ain't buying it. People are standing up. Let's talk about what's going down. Donald Trump posts, paid troublemakers are attending Republican town hall meetings. It's all part of the game for the Democrats, but just like our big landslide election, it's not going to work for them. It wasn't a big landslide election. Of the people who voted, you got under 50% of the vote. You lied to people about everything. You said you were going to lower egg prices and grocery prices and other prices on day one. You promised no tax on this, no tax on that, no taxes at all complete BS. You said you would make housing more affordable. You said you would give people all of these jobs. They wouldn't even know what to do with all of these jobs. You lied about everything, and you're a con artist. You're a fraud. You tricked people. We tried to warn the people that you're a con artist. For whatever reason, they thought that you were telling the truth this time. I don't get it. I won't be able to ever understand the psychology of why people are so easily fooled by you, but people are waking up and they are pissed. But it's just this kind of constant stream of whining from MAGA. Like, this is what JD Vance posted yesterday. He goes, "Today, while walking my 3-year-old daughter, a group of Slava Ukraini protesters followed us around and shouted as my daughter grew increasingly anxious and scared. I decided to speak with the protesters in the hopes that I could trade a few minutes of conversation for them, leaving my toddler alone. Nearly all of them agreed it was a mostly respectful conversation, but if you're chasing a 3-year-old as part of a political protest, you're a shit person." First off, what do you mean you're walking your daughter? What does he mean you're walking your daughter? Also, you may be the shit person, JD Vance. Maybe they are pissed that you have cut off all military, like you're a murderer, JD. Like you're like a killer. You're like a pathetic coward killer who hides behind your 3-year-old as like a human shield, the same way Elon Musk brings his kid around as basically a human shield at this point. It's utterly pathetic. And didn't Trump do that at that NASCAR event as well, when he wouldn't actually give a crap about the horrible storms that were hitting some places in the United States? No, maybe you're a shit person, JD Vance, because you've withheld surveillance and intelligence from Ukraine. You've literally led to hundreds and maybe even thousands of Ukrainians getting killed over the past 48 hours. You've taken the side of Vladimir Putin. You're a shit person, JD Vance. You're the shittiest person that there absolutely is. By the way, here's that exchange just so you can see it.
We're forcing both the Russians and Ukrainians.
Right here, won't settle.
Exactly. They certainly invaded Ukraine in 2022. But there needs to be a settlement. Ma'am,
they are the aggressor every time.
Ma'am, I understand that that's your view, and certainly they have, and certainly I have condemned, ma'am. Please, you're interrupting. I'm speaking with you, and I'm trying to be respectful. I have condemned the invasion, but I've also condemned the perpetual. That is the policy of the administration. And I've talked to you guys now.
Now, the head of the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Campaign Committee, he's saying no more town halls, and he keeps repeating this ridiculous lie that, oh, we can't do the town halls because of George Soros. George Soros, this MAGA Republican who leads the Republican Congressional Committee, Richard Hudson, he's saying, look, this is so bad now because of George Soros. George Soros did it to us. Here he is, just so you can hear him. He got some good questions asked him as well. Here's the MAGA Republican Congress member, Hudson. So he coordinates those town halls for all of the MAGA Republicans and Republicans in like swing districts, and he's telling them not to show up, and because he says it's George Soros's fault. Play this clip.
Unfortunately, the Democrat Party has hijacked these in-person town halls and busing people in whose sole purpose is to disrupt these meetings, and so you can't have a meaningful dialogue with your constituents. So my recommendation is use technology so you can have these meaningful dialogues, so you can actually reach more constituents. You know, a lot of people are really busy with their families and their jobs and their lives. They don't have time to go to a town hall meeting.
I mean, are you just concerned about the optics, though?
I'm concerned about Democrat activists who are disrupting.
But do you have proof that these are all Democrats sitting in these constituent town halls?
Just y'all's news coverage.
Have you held a town hall?
I held a lot of telephone town halls. I've got one coming up, I think next week or the week after.
I mean, don't you think it's important to have that face-to-face interaction with people in your district?
I think it's the only way you can be a good representative. And that's why it's such a shame that the Democrats are threats to democracy by disrupting this dialogue.
The George Soros thing's just like the most stupid, anti-Semitic, dumbest, like, boogeyman. Like, you actually have Elon Musk and Trump's oligarchs doing all of the things that they claim that George Soros did, but George Soros never did that, never had a position at the government, never had access to any of this data, never did anything like that. I mean, he gave donations over the years, political campaign donations, but never anything like, I mean, Elon Musk creates these like fake PACs that like claim to be supportive of specific, they pretend that they're like supporting Democrats, but then they're sending messages that undercut the Democrats while he then is infiltrating the government. I mean, the whole thing is just so unseemly and unspeakable. But let me ask you, MAGA Republican Congress member Hudson, I just saw that clip that I just showed. Here is Jennifer Piggott, for example. She voted for Trump 3 times, including 2024, but she found herself jobless following cuts to government agencies in February. So is she one of these is this a George Soros plant, Hudson? Is she a George Soros plant? Here, play this clip.
Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely. I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
No kings, no tyrants!
The cuts have shaken up a community that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. He won West Virginia with 70% of the vote, but the betrayal felt by Piggott, a church-going conservative and 3-time Trump voter, comes as political analysts are examining early signs of a possible backlash in Republican strongholds like Parkersburg.
The concept of voting for that again, voting for Elon Musk essentially to wreck people's lives, I can't do it.
I don't know. I just think people are pissed that, look at this crap. Elon Musk is doing polls from his social media platform. Do you support Doge reducing government waste? No, yes, super yes. And then he goes, oh, look at me, strong support. But just images like this. Elon Musk reposts messages from Insurrection Barbie accounts. I give Elon Musk and Doge my permission to audit anyone receiving my tax dollars. Or how about this? Elon Musk saying Democrats are demented, genocidal war sluts. I mean, as the Trump regime is supporting Vladimir Putin, as America has formed alliances with Russia and the axis of evil, North Korea, Belarus, and Hungary, this is what they're posting. Democrats are demented, genocidal war sluts. I mean, these MAGAs are sickos. Musk, Trump, that whole regime is a regime of sickos. These oligarchs hate the workers. They hate America. They hate our Constitution. They love kings and dictators. And they're just a bunch of idiot grifters also. It's so pathetic. So pathetic. Show you this as well. Hat tip over here to Jackie Benson from NBC Washington, who got the scoop here. How ICE detained a U.S. citizen in Northern Virginia with guns drawn. He's a Trump supporter. He offered to show ID, told the officers he was an American citizen and a Trumper. But he says now he's reconsidering his support after he was targeted for being Hispanic. Here, play this clip.
The man we spoke with is a U.S. citizen. He provided us with documentation of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump, for whom he voted, he says. This is what Yenzi Machado managed to record on his phone Wednesday. He says while he was driving to work with 2 other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home. He says he was confused by what was happening, why agents surrounded the pickup truck. He spoke with our sister station, Telemundo 44 reporter Rosbelis Quinones, who was the first to report his story.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And, everything was really fast.
Machado says the agents said the name of a man they were seeking for a deportation order, someone who had given Machado's home address. He said that was not his name, and he did not know anyone by that name. He offered to show them this, his Real ID compliant Virginia driver's license. It has a star in the upper right corner and requires proof of lawful status.
They didn't ask me for any ID. I was telling the officer if I can give him the ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. And then after that, he told me to get out of the car, and then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? Because he asked the other guy, do you believe him?
Machado said he was uncuffed and immediately released after showing his driver's license. The 2 men with him were taken into custody. He does not know why. The incident has caused him to reflect.
Definitely, because like I say, I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, like be pointless, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals.
So, do you think that's what they're doing now?
That's what they're doing now. They're just following Hispanic people looking like.
Immigration lawyers suggest that residents and citizens carry ID with them at all times. In Manassas, Jackie Benson, News 4.
Man, the whole thing there is so utterly pathetic. What's Donald Trump doing while all of this is taking place? Trump is selling pins. He's selling Trump pins, the American flag with Trump's name on it. He's desecrating our flag by putting the letters TRUMP over it. So ridiculous. But anyway, I guess you can try to run away. MAGA's just going to try to run away. What I love what Bernie Sanders is doing. We've been covering his rallies. So the MAGAs are running away, but Bernie's going into Kenosha. Bernie's going into Michigan. Bernie's going into areas that are purplish and reddish, red districts, swing districts, and he's talking to workers. I mean, it's the right thing to do right now. I mean, workers are getting screwed. Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Trump promised to help them out and give them all these things. And then Trump took their paycheck to paycheck and then gave it to the billionaires. So just, Democrats or people in the pro-democracy community, just keep it simple. Just go speak to workers, speak to Americans who are suffering right now. Tell them that you care. Be there with them. That's what you should be doing. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.